Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodhanandana Bradadana Ranjana. Yasodhanandana Bradadana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopidana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodhanandana Bradadana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Banachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Brahmang Saparivraj ke Chara Sadara Satasi Simati Nani Swami Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Haribol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranjayana Vararottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nastapresha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Tatarajastamo Bhava Kama Lobha Dayaschaye Chetai Tairana Vidam Sitam Satve Prasidati. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 18th chapter, text number 9. And the chapter is entitled, The Residents of Jambudweep Offer Prayers, and this is Prahlad Maharaj speaking. Svasyastyasyo vishvasya kala prasidatam Dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitodhya Manascha badram bhajata dadokshache Aveshyatam no matirapyahetuki. Svasyasti vishvasya kala prasidatam. Dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitodya. Manascha badram bhajata dadokshaje. Aveshyatam no matirapyahetuki. Svasyasti vishvasya kala prasidatam. Dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitodya. Manascha badram bhajata dadokshaje. Aveshyatam no matirapyahetuki. Dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitodya. Vasyastu vishvasya kala prasidatam. Dhyanti bhutani shivam mitodya. Manasya badram bhajata dadokshaje. Ladies, Svasyastu vishvasya kala prasidatam. Shivam mitodya. Svasyastu vishvasya kala prasidatam. Dhyayanti bhutani shivam mitodya. Manascha badram bhajata dadokshaje. Aveshyatam no matirapyahetuki. Svasti, auspiciousness. Astu, let there be. Vishvasya, of the entire universe. Kalaha, the envious. Almost everyone. Prasidatam, let them be pacified. Dhyayantu, let them consider. Bhutani, all the living entities. Shivam, auspiciousness. Mita, mutual. Dhya, by their intelligence. Manaha, the mind. Cha, and. Bhadram, calmness. Bhajatat, let it experience. Adhokshaje, in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the perception of mind, intelligence, and senses. Aveshyatam, let it be absorbed. Naha, our. Mati, intelligence. Api, indeed. Ahaituki, without any motive. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Purport. The following verse describes a Vaishnav. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Just like a desire tree, a Vaishnav can fulfill all the desires of anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is a typical Vaishnav. He prays not for himself, but for all living entities, the gentle, the envious, and the mischievous. He always thought of the welfare of mischievous persons, like his father, Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself. Rather, he prayed for the Lord to excuse his demoniac father. This is the attitude of a Vaishnav who always thinks of the welfare of the entire universe. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. Parama nirmatsaranam. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Kala prasidatam. May all envious persons be pacified. The material world is full of envious persons, but if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manascha badram bhajata dadokshaje. Therefore we should pray to Lord Nrsingadev to sit in our hearts. We should pray, Bahir Nrisingho, Hridaye Nrisingha. Let Lord Nrsingadev sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean, so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Whenever one offers a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benediction from Him. Even pure, nishkam devotees pray for some benediction. As instructed by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshashtaka, Ainandatanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam buddho kripaya patapatang pankaja stitaduli sadrisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. In another prayer, Lord Chaitanya says, Mama janmani janmani shvare bhavatat bhakti rahoituki toi. Life after life, kindly let me have unalloyed love and devotion at your Lordship's lotus feet. When Prahlad Maharaj chants Om Namo Bhagavate Narasinghaya, he prays for a benediction from the Lord. But because he's also an exalted Vaishnav, he wants nothing for his personal sense gratification. The first desire expressed in his prayer is Swasti astu vishwasya. Let there be good fortune throughout the entire universe. Prahlad Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father, a most envious person. According to Chanakya Pandit, there are two kinds of envious living entities. One is a snake, and the other is the man like Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakashipu was envious of his little son Prahlad, but Prahlad Maharaj asked a benediction for the benefit of his father. Hiranyakashipu was very envious of devotees, but Prahlad wished that his father and other demons like him would give up their envious nature by the grace of the Lord and stop harassing the devotees. Kala prasidatam. The difficulty is that the kala, envious living entity, is rarely pacified. One kind of kala, the snake, can be pacified simply by mantras or by the action of a particular herb. Mantroshadi vasha sarpa kalakena nivaryate. An envious person, however, cannot be pacified by any means. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others. Are you still with me? Okay, just checking. It's a long purport. Prabhupada puts it all in there. If the Krishna consciousness movement spreads all over the world, and if by the grace of Krishna everyone accepts it, the thinking of envious people will change. Everyone will think of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays, Shivam Mitodiya. In material activities, everyone is envious of others, but in Krishna consciousness, no one is envious of anyone else. Everyone thinks of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that everyone's mind may become gentle by being fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna. Bhajata dadokshaje. As indicated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savaimana Krishna Padaravindayo, and as advised by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, text 65, Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto. One should constantly think of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then one's mind will certainly be cleansed. Chetodharpanamarjanam. Materialists always think of sense gratification. But Prahlad Maharaj prays that the Lord's mercy will change their minds and they will stop thinking of sense gratification. If they think of Krishna always, everything will be all right. Some people argue that if everyone thought of Krishna in that way, the whole universe would be vacated because everyone would go back home, back to Godhead. However, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are innumerable. If one set of living entities is actually delivered by the Krishna consciousness movement, another set will fill the entire universe. Svastyastu vishvasya kala prasidatam dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitodiya manascha badram bhajata dadokshaje aveshyatam no matirapya haituki. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of Him. Om Ajnanatimarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gedamhayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripadamaham vande Sri Guru Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyeshwaram Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindubhyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So the blessings of Maharaj, all the senior devotees and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Here Prahlad Maharaj is offering prayers. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a collection of prayers. I remember when I read the Bhagavatam for the first time around, I was like, where's the action? Does that ever happen to you? You go like, where's the action? Like, oh no, now they're praying again. All right, let's go see how long this is going to last. Wow, it lasts the whole chapter. Huh? So, but then after a while, you actually understand that this is the action. This is where it's happening. Because the acharyas, they teach us by their own example how to approach the Lord. When we go in front of the Lord and we offer prayers, a prayer usually consists of three things. The first part is, you are so great. The second part is, I'm so terrible. And then the third part is, Amilagbe. I need something. Please give me. Now, how to do that is a science. How to glorify the Lord adequately. Namo pankachanabhaya, namo pankachamaline, namo pankachanitraya, namaste pankajangraye. Krishna is glorified as the one who is resembling a lotus. Lotus embodies beauty. Do you all like lotus? You like lotus flower? It's okay? It's fine? Lotus is beautiful, right? Yeah. And Krishna's face is like a lotus. His abdomen is like a lotus. He has lotus feet. But his smile is the most sweet of all. So Krishna is glorified in this verse, in this prayer. So if we don't have any ways of glorifying the Lord, and we just jump to number 3, we just come with our shopping list. You know? You ever do that? You just get in front of the Lord and you say, I need this, this, and this, and this. And you got to fix this, this, and this. Okay? No, first there has to be prayer. There has to be glorification. So if we don't have proper words to glorify the Lord, because we may be not so educated, not so eloquent, we can just borrow from others. It's permissible. In Sanskrit, plagiarism is called Guru Parampara. It means you follow tradition. In the mature world, everybody wants to be original. They all want to be unique. They all want to stand out. Like I asked Nityananda Prabhu this morning, so what's the new ideology? And he said, no new ideology. Just stick to the old. Just we follow the tradition. Yet, after some time, we should also learn how to compose our own prayers. Because it's got to be innovation. Otherwise, it stays rigid. It stays very, very mechanical. If we just mechanically do things, we just go through rituals, then especially the younger sections of society will say, this is getting a little old, this is getting a little boring. Like, can you teach me some way that's more exciting, that's appealing to me? So we have to inspire the younger section to internalize this process and to find their own language, their own words, their own offering through arts, music, poetry, farming, business, science, medicine, all of that, and make their offering to Krishna. Are you with me so far, or did we already lose half? No? You're still here? Okay, just checking. You have to make sure that, you don't lose your audience, because otherwise you kind of miss the boat. You understand the saying? Miss the boat? The boat is gone. You're still there on the shore, and you wonder what happened. Why am I not going anywhere? So, to glorify the Lord adequately may be difficult because He is adokshaja. He's beyond the perception of the mind and the senses. I cannot perceive of His greatness. I cannot perceive of His glories. Yet I'm very fortunate because I can hear. I can hear from acharyas, from our teachers, from our predecessors, how to glorify the Lord adequately. By just repeating their prayers. And eventually, I will have some inspiration, I will have some realization that I can also address the Lord and glorify Him. But if you want to go the safe way, just chant the prayers that have been given, and you will get realization through that. Then the second part of approaching the Lord is dainya, or humility. If I'm not capable of having an accurate self-assessment, if I think too highly of myself, or as they say, if I'm too much intoxicated by my own coolness, by my own Kool-Aid, it can happen, because this is the me generation nowadays. It's all about me. Before it was I, me, and mine. Now it's just me. So, if we don't have a grip on our identity, on our real position, it's very difficult to make any progress. Because if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. There will be no progress. So humility means to understand my situation, my predicament. I am a tiny jiva. I'm a small living entity, 10,000 the tip of the hair, small particle. And my position here in the material world is very dangerous. Amala dala dala, jivana dala mala. Is like the leaf on a lotus, like the drop of water on a lotus leaf. You ever seen a lotus leaf? You see a drop of water on it? How easy can the drop fall off the leaf? Is it difficult? Not difficult, right? It can drop off anyway. Like in Mayapur, when you walk to the temple in the morning, and there's mist sometimes, there's humidity, and it accumulates on the trees, and then you walk, and then water drips on you. Has this ever happened to you? And you wonder, like, is it raining? No, it's not raining. It's just amala jala jala jivana dala mala. It's just that drop that is falling off and hitting you. So we are like that drop. Any moment we can fall off either way. There's no guarantee. Nobody can say, oh, but you're supposed to live 100 years, or there is no expiration code. I was not informed that this is a temporary arrangement. Well, you didn't read the fine print, you know. If you actually were to read the user's manual of the galaxy, this is the user's manual for the galaxy, in case you were wondering, Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll get the idea that we're only here for a very short time, only a few afternoons. And we should make best use of our time by reading the Bhagavatam, so we understand our position, which is a very temporary position. We're only here for a few moments. And therefore we should pay attention and learn and apply ourselves. Otherwise we will not make progress. And then the third part, I need something. Without need, there is no real benefit. Was the feast good yesterday evening? That doesn't sound very convincing. Were you hungry yesterday? Were you fasting? Without hunger, without a need, there is no real meaning of food. There's no real satisfaction. If you don't feel a need, then even if somebody gives you something, you'll just feel it's a botheration. Why are you giving this to me? I have no use for this, because there is no need. So unless I feel a need, it will just be a nuisance. If I don't feel a need to hear Bhagavatam, then it will just be a botheration. I will go off and do other stuff. And there are options, right? There are always seemingly countless options. So to recognize, to cultivate that need, that spiritual thirst, that hunger. I want to hear Harikatha. I would like to hear about the Lord. This is important for me, because this will define each and every other activity that I'll do in my life. How I will communicate, how I will interact with people, my own trajectory is all dependent on the quality of the sound vibration that I'm exposing myself to. If you don't like the way your life is going, change the dialogue, change the frequency, change the sound vibration that you're exposing yourself to. Here in this verse, the main theme is getting rid of envy. Now you may say, I'm not envious. I'm a nice guy. I'm not want anybody bad. Did you ever see anybody who had something that you didn't have and it hurt you? Has this ever happened to you? Or is it just me? That's envy. That's envy. If I would be in a grateful mood, I would say, wonderful. This person has something. Good for him. Not as they say, good for you. You know? Like sometimes you tell people I'm a vegetarian and they say, good for you. You know, this passive-aggressive type of behavior, this kind of talk, you know? I don't want to come right out and say, you're a this and the that and the other thing. So I just say, good for you. Well, what I mean to say is, for me, it's not good. For you, it's good. But for me, no. Vaishnavism means simplicity. And simplicity means no duplicity. We cannot have diplomatic behavior. Yes, if you deal in business or in politics, there is certain rules of the game that you have to follow, otherwise you don't get the job done. But here, we're trying to develop our devotion, our relationship, our love for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We cannot be diplomatic. When Lord Nrsingadev offered the boon to Prahlad Maharaj, he said, I'm not a merchant, I don't want anything from you. I'm happy. Please give me the blessing that let there be no material desire in my heart. I simply want to serve my spiritual master, Narad Muni. Don't tempt me. I'm born in a family of demons. Nowadays, some people are very proud of their heritage, of their tradition, of I'm coming from this place, I'm speaking this language, I got this ancestry. But Prahlad Maharaj is Mahajan. He's showing us, be wary of your ancestry. Be wary of your lineage. Because the Lord is only oppressed and only attracted by pure devotion. So how to get rid of that envy that is ruining our Krishna consciousness, that is ruining our lives? People are envious on animals and they exploit them and kill them. They're envious of other people. They exploit them and kill them. They're envious on the planet. And in this way, life becomes exceedingly miserable, exceedingly difficult. So we can get rid of envy. The antidote is given here by Prahlad. By praying and by acting for the welfare of others. Sarve sukhino bhavantu. You have heard this before? Huh? You understand what it means? Sarve, sarvam, all, everyone. Sukhino, happy, happy. Huh? Bhavantu, let everybody become happy. Let everybody become joyful. Let everybody be peaceful and calm. Not let me be fine and let everybody else, who cares, right? No. So Prahlad is showing us how to have the proper mentality, the proper mindset. So there is no place for politics and diplomacy in Vaishnavism. As long as I think according to friends and enemies. That's why Prahlad, he did not subscribe to the teachings of Sandanamarka. The head teachers in his school were trying to teach him the laws of scarcity. There's just, limited resources. It's not enough for everybody. So we're the good guys, they're the bad guys. So we got to keep the stuff for ourselves, and we got to keep the bad guys out. That's what they teach since time immemorial. It's still, if you go to MBA, it's still the same stuff. Laws of scarcity and how to protect your resources and how to keep the other guys out. And if you let them in only by taxing them, by controlling them, by exploiting them. So, this has to be avoided. Otherwise, our bhakti cannot grow. Our devotional creeper will get choked by this type of mentality. Now you may say, oh, I'm a nice guy. I got 5,000 friends, on social media. So I must be a nice person because so many people like me. But are you still thinking somebody is your enemy? Do you ever think like that? Somebody's against me, somebody is in my way, somebody is blocking me, is stifling my progress. That means we have not made any spiritual advancement. Prahlad Maharaj says there's only one enemy. It's the uncontrolled mind and senses. There is no other enemies in this world. No one can harm you. No one can hurt you but yourself if you have an uncontrolled mind and senses. So the process of Krishna consciousness helps us to control our mind and our senses, helps us to work for the benefit of all living entities by the performance of Sankirtan. Samyak Kirtan, the complete chanting, in unison, everybody together, not just separatists. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was quoted in the purport by Srila Prabhupada extensively, and how he prayed to the Lord. And so one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, his name is Tapan Mishra. He was an educated Brahmin, yet he did not know the goal of life nor the means how to attain it. Have you ever wondered about that one? How can you be learned? How can you be smart? How can you be educated, but you don't know the goal of life nor the means how to attain it? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his purport to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, he explains the mystery. He said that he was chanting his Krishna mantra silently, just for himself, for his own benefit. Have you ever thought, I got my deity, I got my guru, I got my mantra, I'm fine, I'm safe? Has this thought ever crossed your mind? Never. And the explanation is that because he was not engaging in Nava-anga Bhakti, he was not engaging in Sankirtan, in spreading the holy name, in the association of other devotees, he still didn't know the goal of life, nor the means how to attain it. Even though he was chanting the right mantra, he's following a part of the right process, but not the complete. Sometimes we get too excited about the mechanics. We want to know how things work, because then we figured it out, right? Just tell me how it works, and then I figured it out. But bhakti is not about the mechanics. Bhakti is about the emotion, the bhava. Krishna is bhava grahi janardan. Krishna extracts the essence, and that is devotion. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally showed us by his own example. When he came back from Gaya, he met Ishvara Puri, and he took initiation from him. And he was a changed person. He was explaining Shastra and everything according to the holy name. All he could do was talk about the holy name of Krishna. When he came back, he said, I only could go to Gaya and get the darshan, the mercy of Ishvara Puri, because of the blessings of all of you. He was taking the humble role. He was grateful. He was appreciating all the Vaishnavas. And he was stating that by their blessings, by their mercy, he could get the darshan of Ishvara Puri, who is the premier disciple of Madhavendra Puri, who is the first one in our lineage who revealed the mood of conjugal love, which was not present before. The intimate dealings of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, with his internal potency. So, Lord Chaitanya, he showed us that if we want to progress in our spiritual life, we have to have appreciation. We have to be able to appreciate others, to appreciate their service. And that will help us to appreciate what we have more. If you have something but you can't appreciate it, you technically don't have it. You may have so many things, but you don't value them. You don't really feel that these things are important or meaningful or beneficial. Then technically you don't have them because they're worthless. They're meaningless to you. So if I'm not able to appreciate what I have, then I'm a poor person. That's why right now you will ask people and they will say, well, I don't have it. I can't give you anything because I don't have anything. Because that is their state of poverty. Yet a devotee understands that everything that I have is Krishna's gift. It's Krishna's potency. Krishna Shakti Vinana Hetara Pravartan. It's Krishna's gift. It's not my doing. And thus they're always grateful and they always feel there is plenty for everybody. Srila Prabhupada said, let the whole world come here. We'll feed them prasad. Like Madhavendra Puri, when he installed the Gopal Deity, he did for many, many, many days. They did Abhishek and they served big feast, and village after village people came and brought their goods, and they would perform another Abhishek and another big feast, and then another village came, and this went on and on. There was no scarcity. It was unlimited. Yet somehow we think, oh no, there's limited resources, friends and enemies. Who is in my group? That kind of thinking has to be given up. Otherwise, we cannot progress in our bhakti. So we just celebrated Narasingha Chaturdasi yesterday. In some parts of the world, it is today. So Narasimhadev appeared to protect Prahlad, and it is a great mystery how he came out of the pillar and how he killed Hiranyakashipu. It's a wonderful display of his mercy, his protection, his love for his devotee. We want to experience that mystery of Krishna consciousness, right? Like yesterday, you saw when the curtain opened and the lights were flashing and you're like, where is he? Where is he? What's going on here? Did you think like that? Or you already knew before what's going to happen? There's no more suspense. No, it should be suspenseful, right? There should be some excitement. Chatmakar, we should be astounded, we should be astonished when we see the merciful potency of the Lord. If we go like, oh yeah, same old, okay, what's next? What's up for breakfast? I had a little too much last night, so I'm not sure I can really do breakfast. Then it's not so exciting. Then it's more about, oh, how is my body? How is my mind? That's not a very exciting prospect. If you want to be excited, we have to associate with the Lord and the Lord's pastimes. That is very exciting. Krishna's Kaviraj says that if you want to be critical, if you want to be analytical, anyone here has got the tendency to be critical or analytical? Anybody? We got 3 honest people. Thank you. Apply it to the merciful nature of the Lord and see how kind He is, how responsive He is. So Krishna is ready to appear in our lives and to intervene. A few years ago, we were in Ghana doing Harinam Sankirtan, and we went in a big bus. It was about 30 of us, and we were chanting and dancing, and the whole town came out because people are not so aloof. They're not so jaded, so cold. They actually, when you bring out the drums, everybody comes and they participate. So it was wonderful Harinam. It was very hot, and we drove back, and the driver decided that he knew a shortcut. So he went off the main road and went into the forest, and then the forest became jungle, and then the road became a little cow trail, a little pathway, got very bumpy road, and I was like, whoa, where is this going? You know, we better don't get stuck here. And all of a sudden, we finally got back on another smaller road, but it was kind of an okay road. But then all of a sudden, pum! The tire burst. And we had to go off the bus and change the tire. And, you know, it's a long day, we're hot, we're tired, we're hungry. So anyway, he changes the tire. Everybody gets angry at the driver and says a few things. So once the tire is changed, we're back on the road, he starts speeding up. He says, I'm going to show you how good of a driver I am. And do you ever had a driver like that in India? Who wanted to show you what kind of a driver he was? He started driving very fast. But then there was a bump, and the bus was kind of flying over that bump. But then there was a double curb. The first one, he could kind of get it, but the second one, impossible. So he was jamming the steering wheel around, and the bus just flipped on the side and was sliding. And we were inside an African village where there's people on the sides of the path sitting down selling their stuff, and there's hundreds of people around. So meanwhile, everyone, do you like this story so far? Should I continue? Yeah? That's why people like Mahabharata and Ramayana, right? Because it's the action, right? There's some lesson there. We'll get to that. So, so I was screaming, yelling, and I was like, this is going to be the end of it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of bloodshed here. And just as we were about to crash into this big marketplace, there's a big pile of construction bricks on the side of the road, and the bus just smashed into these bricks and pulverized them. Then devotees were all over, because you have a bus and then you put it like this, what was down now is up, and then law of gravity, what happens, it falls down, right? So inside there was just kitchery, there's just instruments and devotees and people on top of each other, broken glass. We had the bus was lying on its door, we couldn't get out, so we had to kick out the back window and climb out the back window. And as everybody was out, they were brushing off the glass, and nobody was killed, no broken bones, a couple of scratches. And the people came up and they said, "A miracle, a miracle, a miracle. Who are you people?" Lord Nishingadev protected us. Otherwise, there would have been a lot of dead people. So Krishna intervenes in different ways in our lives. Sometimes things happen that look tragic, they look terrible, they look like disastrous calamity. But later on we understand actually it was a blessing. It was meant to be. It was helpful for my devotional practice, for my advancement in Krishna consciousness. So, Haribol, please. So, if we want to develop the right kind of mood, the right kind of attitude, we have to enter into the mood of our Mahajans. Swayambur Narakshambhu Kumara Kapilomanu Pralada Janaka Bhishma Balirvaya Sakir Vayam. These are the Mahajans, the 9, the 12, the 25, the 64, all our great acharyas, their lives, their teachings, they're here in Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So please get these books, read them. They don't just look good, behind you in your Zoom conference as a backdrop. Oh, this guy must be very learned, he got a lot of books behind him, He must be a real smart guy, Now you can have these, just you put like some nice wallpaper, and you know how it works. You know better than I do. I'm tech illiterate. Krishna is attracted by devotion, and devotion is obstructed by envy, by diplomacy, by political maneuvering, by exploitation. So this has to be eradicated, has to be avoided from our life. Otherwise our heart will become hard, and our heart will not be susceptible to this process of bhakti. Or it will be delayed. It will take a very long time. But remember, we're only here for a short time. So we can't afford to put things off for later. We should have a no procrastination policy. I remember I was walking here with one of my mentors 20 years ago at a festival of inspiration. And I was stuck in my life in many dangerous and complicated things. But Krishna figured it out. He knows how to figure things out. So stay on the path, keep chanting, keep reading, keep doing devotional service, and take guidance. And as soon as your mind tries to tell you, you already know this stuff, you don't need to hear this, you better go off and push some buttons on a screen or do some other stupid stuff. Then you tell your mind, we're going to hear the Bhagavatam now. This is medicine. This is what I need in order to actually flourish and thrive in Krishna consciousness. And as soon as your mind tells you, he's my enemy, these people are against me, tell your mind, you are my enemy. You are the rascal. Why is Swamiji speaking so strongly? Because we've been had, we've been cheated, we've been taken for a ride for a very long time. Don't allow yourself to be fooled. If you don't know who the fool is, who the sucker is, it's you. That's why we hear the Bhagavatam, the straight talk, the direct instructions. No diplomacy, no political maneuvering. So that we'll not be cheated. So we don't have to, again, come back and take up another birth in a mature world, which is a very dangerous predicament. You don't know where you'll be born. Maybe what you considered a good place now has become a bad place. Things change historically very fast. So don't delay. There's a great sense of urgency. You feel the sense of urgency when Prabhupada is preaching, when he's explaining things here? There's a great sense of urgency. It's not like, yeah, just keep dragging your feet and sucking your thumb and, someday, maybe, we'll see how it goes, right? No, there's a great sense of urgency. That doesn't mean that we become fanatics, that we become very small-minded and very fanatical about our views and our ideas. No. Prahlad, he is Manishina, he's thoughtful, he's wise, and he's very accommodating. He's praying and he's acting for the benefit of every living entity in the universe. He's asking Lord Nishingadev for blessings, for kindness, not just for his father, not just for his tribe, but for everybody. He wants to benefit all. That is Vaishnav. That is our tradition. So as long as we still think those are the bad guys, and I'm one of the good guys, it's not bhakti. I was in Berkeley on Telegraph in front of the University of Berkeley, and I was distributing books, and one young gentleman said, he already asked me yesterday, and he was wearing a mask. I said, well, how do I know? You guys look all the same, you masked people. And he pulled down his mask, and he had a big beard. And he said, I'm a Muslim. But you're glowing. You're effulgent. I want what you have. I said, well, take the book. Give a donation. He took the book. He gave a donation. Now, I know for some of us this may be a hard thing. We were down in Chapel Hills doing Harinam because there was a big game on, and everybody was out waiting 3 hours to get into a bar, to get drunk, to watch a game on a screen. Sounds kind of stupid, doesn't it? That's what people do in the material world. And a few people walked up to the Harinam and they said, Happy Ramadan. And I was like, thank you. Because if somebody says something, even if it's a little awkward, just take it as a compliment. Don't say, we're doing a different thing here, Those are the bad guys. We're the good guys, okay? No, because the good guy, bad guy thing means no advancement, no bhakti. It means diplomacy in politics. Huh? The only bad guy is the uncontrolled mind and the uncontrolled senses. So let us all eradicate envy from our lives and join hands with everybody to cultivate bhakti, because that is what will attract the Lord. That is what will attract His magnanimity, His kindness, that He's ready to bestow on all living entities. As He was protecting and blessing Prahlad, so will He bless everyone who follows in Prahlad Maharaj's footsteps. Srila Prabhupada was always absorbed in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. What is that mood? Naivodvijay paraduratya vaitaranyas tadvirya gayana mahamrita magnachita shochetato vimukcheta sa indriyarta maya sukhayam baramudva hato vimudhan. The vimudhas, the fools and rascals, they're suffering. And I'm making plans how to help them. I'm not criticizing them. I'm not chastising them. I want to see them become happy. Just like when we say that the children should play in the other room, it's not that we don't like children, but we want them to be happy. That's why we want them to play where they can be happy. That's in the room next door. So, these are some reflections. We have time for 1 or 2 comments from our senior members or some question. Yes, Nityadita Prabhu.